Hello, my name is Mr. Nichols and I'm the Director of Specialism here at Cathedral Schools Trust. I'd like to spend a little bit of time explaining what the Specialism is, and this is particularly directed to Year 5 students and parents and carers. So firstly, hopefully this presentation will cover who we are and what makes us a unique community. We'll discuss how you can gain a place at Bristol Cathedral Choir School or Trinity Academy, and then we'll touch also on what the benefits of being a music specialist are in general. We are a unique institution in that both Trinity Academy and Bristol Cathedral Choir School are part of Cathedral Schools Trust. And we do have teaching school status, and we feel that it's important that our teachers are experts in what they do, and that expertise and that experience permeates across the site so that all schools benefit from that. Both Bristol Cathedral Choir School and Trinity Academy are music specialist schools, which means that this in particular affects our admissions procedure. So 10% of Year 7 intake is given to those that pass the musical aptitude tests. That's about aptitude, so it's not about ability. We're not audition based in that sense, but it's about trying to identify students with a particular aptitude and skill and how to hone and harness that. Bristol Cathedral Choir School is actually the first of only 2 academy choir schools, and the most recent Ofsted rated it as outstanding. Obviously, Trinity Academy is a newer school, but that expertise and that experience, as I said before, is very much being shared across the Trust to ensure that all of our schools benefit from excellent teaching and excellent practices. The music specialism, as far as I'm concerned and as far as the vision is that we want the music specialism to be inspirational, inclusive and impactful. And it is known and very well documented that pupils who learn musical instruments outperform students who do not learn music in areas of intelligence, developmental skills, academic performance and social skills. They're able to transfer their musical knowledge and skills to other areas of academic excellence. So music specialism is not just about developing musicians, although that is fantastic and of course something that we want to do. But many students that are at our schools will not be going on to be professional musicians, but in embarking in a musical journey and taking it seriously and really engaging in music have huge benefits across the board. To indicate that a little bit more clearly and to show you why we think music is good for your brain, I just want to show you this short video now.
Did you know that every time musicians pick up their instruments, there are fireworks going off all over their brain? On the outside, they may look calm and focused, reading the music and making the precise and practiced movements required. But inside their brains, there's a party going on. How do we know this? Well, in the last few decades, neuroscientists have made enormous breakthroughs in understanding how our brains work by monitoring them in real time with instruments like fMRI and PET scanners. When people are hooked up to these machines, tasks such as reading or doing math problems each have corresponding areas of the brain where activity can be observed. But when researchers got the participants to listen to music, they saw fireworks. Multiple areas of their brains were lighting up at once as they processed the sound, took it apart to understand elements like melody and rhythm, and then put it all back together into unified musical experience. And our brains do all this work in the split second between when we first hear the music and when our foot starts to tap along. But when scientists turned from observing the brains of music listeners to those of musicians, the little backyard fireworks became a jubilee. It turns out that while listening to music engages the brain in some pretty interesting activities, playing music is the brain's equivalent of a full-body workout. The neuroscientists saw multiple areas of the brain light up, simultaneously processing different information in intricate, interrelated, and astonishingly fast sequences. But what is it about making music that sets the brain alight? The research is still fairly new, but neuroscientists have a pretty good idea. Playing a musical instrument engages practically every area of the brain at once, especially the visual, auditory, and motor cortices. And as with any other workout, Disciplined, structured practice in playing music strengthens those brain functions, allowing us to apply that strength to other activities. The most obvious difference between listening to music and playing it is that the latter requires fine motor skills, which are controlled in both hemispheres of the brain. It also combines the linguistic and mathematical precision in which the left hemisphere is more involved with the novel and creative content that the right excels in. For these reasons, playing music has been found to increase the volume and activity in the brain's corpus callosum, the bridge between the two hemispheres, allowing messages to get across the brain faster and through more diverse routes. This may allow musicians to solve problems more effectively and creatively in both academic and social settings. Because making music also involves crafting and understanding its emotional content and message, musicians often have higher levels of executive function, a category of interlinked tasks that includes planning, strategizing, and attention to detail, and requires simultaneous analysis of both cognitive and emotional aspects. This ability also has an impact on how our memory systems work. And indeed, musicians exhibit enhanced memory functions, creating, storing, and retrieving memories more quickly and efficiently. Studies have found that musicians appear to use their highly connected brains to give each memory multiple tags, such as a conceptual tag, an emotional tag, an audio tag, and a contextual tag, like a good internet search engine. So how do we know that all these benefits are unique to music as opposed to, say, sports or painting? Or could it be that people who go into music were already smarter to begin with? Neuroscientists have explored these issues, but so far they have found that the artistic and aesthetic aspects of learning to play a musical instrument are different from any other activity studied, including other arts. And several randomized studies of participants who showed the same levels of cognitive function and neural processing at the start found that those who were exposed to a period of music learning showed enhancement in multiple brain areas compared to the others. This recent research about the mental benefits of playing music has advanced our understanding of mental function, revealing the inner rhythms and complex interplay that make up the amazing orchestra of our brain.
So there you go. Hopefully that explains why music is our specialism and why we feel it's important that students all engage in taking part in music. So the music specialism means that we want it to be inspirational. We want our students to have a love of learning, and we want them to develop skills to be able to work with others. And the resilience that you get from being engaged with music making is important in terms of being able to follow that resilience into all sorts of walks of life. We want the specialism to be inclusive, so we try to provide opportunities for all to succeed regardless of their background or starting point. And we want it to be impactful, so we want a first-class education system, and we want to be able to provide first-class enriching experiences that permeates through our everyday excellence. In terms of how the specialism works, obviously the core of that is the curriculum in terms of what students experience in the classroom, but obviously there are other facets too. So as I said before, outstanding teaching is something that we hold dear to us, and that is a shared trust expertise and shared trust experience. In terms of the curriculum, at Bristol Cathedral Choir School, each lesson is an hour, and music lessons, there are 3 of them a fortnight, so there are 3 60-minute lessons per fortnight for years 7, 8 and 9. At Trinity Academy, lessons are 50 minutes long, and they have 2 50-minute lessons per week in years 7, 8 and 9. And so as you can tell there's more time given in the curriculum for music than the vast majority of other schools. And that is because of all of those benefits we feel that learning and teaching music bring. The curriculum reflects latest research and national strategies, and we do try to embed music technology across all key stages, so students get access to computers and apps and programs and software, as well as practical music making and theoretical knowledge and academic study. BCCS actually is a Gold ISM award winner for its uptake and achievement at GCSE, with regularly 35-40% of a year group taking part in GCSE music and achieving high levels of success. Both schools offer a broad and deep co-curricular offer of music activities. We call it co-curricular rather than extracurricular because we feel that it isn't just a bolt-on, but actually it works perfectly in conjunction with all the curriculum work that we do. So students will study all sorts of styles of music and will study all sorts of composers and performing opportunities and composing opportunities and academic opportunities in their lessons. So to support that, our co-curricular offer tries to be broad and deep too. Now, obviously, Trinity Academy is a newer school, and so it doesn't have as many ensembles running at the moment as Bristol Cathedral Choir School, but it still has a considerable number of things going on, and this will only build as things grow there too. So as an example of the kind of ensembles and groups that students could take part in at Bristol Cathedral Choir School and Trinity Academy, there are things such as boys choir, girls choir, gospel choir or contemporary choir as it will become, improvisation club. We have at Bristol Cathedral Choir School about 7 choirs, and some of them, like boys choir, girls choir and gospel choir, are very much open access to anybody. No need to necessarily read music, no auditions, but certainly for those that want to be able to sing and have fun with it. And I'll play you a clip of gospel choir later on. We also have some instrumental ensembles such as concert band and sinfonia for students that have played an instrument for a little bit longer, but certainly it's more open access there too. The noise, which I will touch on again in a little while, is our beginners orchestra for Year 7 Trailblazers students too. We also have Band Academy, we're going to start ukulele band as well, and we have DJ Club too. In terms of depth, we do have choirs that are audition based for those that want to do more challenging works. So we have chamber choir and lower school voices. There's also a symphony orchestra, which typically is for students that are grade 7 plus. And we have various string quartets and chamber ensembles like flute choirs and bassoon groups and so on and so forth. We try to offer musical opportunities for students that engage them with all sorts of instruments and all sorts of styles. And these are just some examples of what we do, and probably not all of them. Certainly one I would say is if there's something that students really want to engage in, but we don't offer it at the moment, both Trinity Academy and Bristol Cathedral Choir School would be thrilled to be able to have that conversation and to consider putting on more opportunities too. We also have a team of over 30 visiting teachers. Our peripatetic staff are experts in what they do. We are thrilled and we're so lucky to have such brilliant performers and teachers teach all our instruments and our vocal studies at our schools. There are over 500 lessons a week, so it's quite a big operation, and we certainly take it seriously. Our lessons are observed and good practice is monitored and shared. So if a Year 7 student starts and wants to have peripatetic lessons, one-to-one lessons or paired lessons as per normal, perhaps carry on lessons that they had at their previous school, that's absolutely fine and we can set that up, and that's kind of normal procedures there. But there is also this Trailblazers offer. And Trailblazers is a scheme to try and get students to engage with playing a woodwind or a brass instrument that perhaps ordinarily they may never have considered. It's heavily subsidised, and so students would pay £35 for the first term, so that's from September until Christmas, and in that time they would get 10 lessons in a small group, with a teacher for that instrument. They would also get the free loan of an instrument and a band book as well. If they carry on, which hopefully most of them do, into the second term, then it's £45 for the second batch of 10 lessons, and then the same again in term 3. So this is perhaps a little bit further off, but something certainly worth considering. It's certainly open to students that play to a high standard in other instruments, but perhaps want to take up a new woodwind or brass instrument. Yes, it's absolutely open to those, but really particularly it's open and really pushed for students that haven't thought about taking an instrument. And so this may be something that you would want to consider with your child perhaps in the future. In terms of our pathways, our specialists are very much the heart and soul of what we do as a music specialist academy. We also consider our choristers at Bristol Cathedral Choir School as our specialists, and we work with the cathedral regularly Although we are absolutely keen and completely committed to providing excellent musical opportunities for all students, there are some occasions, for example, if there are particular workshops or masterclasses with visiting composers or performers, that perhaps we can only put that onto a smaller group of students. And typically in those situations, we would prioritise our specialists and choristers to taking part there if appropriate. We were actually working on a very exciting joint project with the Year 7 music specialists at both schools together with a composition professor from the University of Bristol just before lockdown. So that had to stop. But we try to do these exciting projects each year for our specialists too. In terms of the local community, music is very much at the heart and the DNA of our school community in terms of concerts and celebrations or prize givings. And we try to also seek out cross-curricular opportunities for music to work across with other subjects too. In terms of the city, obviously we have a very close working relationship with the cathedral as a performance venue, but also as a place that we can meet and can share music together. And we both work, both Trinity and Bristol Cathedral Choir School, with Cathedral Schools Trust. We work with Bristol Plays Music, which is the music education hub for Bristol. In terms of venues and so on, then we have lots of experience of taking students to perform at St George's, at the concert hall, at the Vic Rooms, part of Bristol University, and so on too. So it's a vibrant city and very much we want to be part of that. In terms of the national community, there are certain places that we try to keep really close in terms of our working relationships, such as the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. We've often had teachers and professors from there that have adjudicated our competitions or have provided masterclasses and workshops. We've got a good historical relationship with the Guildhall School of Music and Drama to do similar kind of work. We're embarking on a great relationship with the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire too, and have had numerous students that have gone to study at all these institutes after they leave us at A-level. Trinity is also working with the Trinity Laban Conservatoire of Dance and Music, particularly for the dance kind of aspects too. Obviously, I can't give you a full flavour of all we do, from symphony orchestra to all the different choirs. This is a couple of years old, but it's a video that just gives you an indication of what we do. So this is gospel choir from a few years ago. So none of this is audition. This is open access for anybody that wants to. And you'll get an idea of why we think it's so important when students come together to sing and to make music, and how important that is for social development as well. So just going to play this for you now. Okay, so hopefully you managed to hear that and can see why we put such efforts into our music making and how brilliant that is. So just spending a little bit of time looking at the musical aptitude tests. Now there's two links on here, and on both schools there are links to the documents in terms of the admissions there. Simply put, just bringing out some of the important dates for you. You'd need to complete the online application form by 9 o'clock on Monday the 28th of September. And then all applicants for both BCCS and Trinity would then be invited to sit a multiple choice oral listening test. Currently that's scheduled for Saturday the 3rd of October, so we can space out those appointments for social distancing purposes. If that changes, obviously you will be told about that. Now that test is a multiple choice test, as I say, so there will be a number of exercises and excerpts of music that will be played through speakers to all of the students. They will have an answer sheet that's multiple choice to select the answers. The questions will be on being able to recognise whether pitches are higher and lower and whether rhythms have changed and that sort of thing. So it's really about musical aptitude and musical ear. Now, the highest scoring students of the BCCS applicants will then be offered a second musical test, and that is a one-to-one with either myself or a colleague. And for those students that are applying for BCCS, their second test will be either on the 7th, 8th or 9th of October. For students that are applying for Trinity, again, the highest scoring ones from the first round will then get offered a second musical aptitude test, again, either with me or a colleague, and that's currently scheduled for the 12th or 13th of October. That is a kind of a 10-minute, 15-minute appointment with some singing and some exercises to be able to determine musical aptitude there. In terms of the outcome, parents will be informed of the outcome of the musical aptitude tests before the closing date for the secondary applications on the 31st of October. And applicants applying to both BCCS and Trinity within the Cathedral Schools Trust will need to name both schools and each school that has been applied for on the CAF. Further information, then obviously look at the school websites on admissions and talk to our admission officer. If you do have further questions or any queries or would like further clarification, please do get in touch. Probably the best way to do that is to contact the music administrator for Bristol Cathedral Choir School, who is Mrs. Charlotte Lee, and her email address is there. I do look forward to welcoming many of you into our schools. It's a thrilling place to be, a fantastic place to learn, and very much encourage you to apply. I wish you all the best for the summer. Stay safe and stay well. Take care.